Real life movie, once in a month. Gotta do best life once in a while. Chat to me nice, I don't chat to me now. Tinted windows, jump in the gap. Real life movie, once in a month. Gotta do best life once in a while.
What's good, family, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been subscribed, welcome if you're new. So in today's episode of Can We Talk About, it's episode 2, and I'm sure majority of you guys have seen, because I think I saw a report that said 196 million people have watched this series. I'm 100% sure if you're watching this video you have seen the new series called DAHMER, A Monster's True Story, or whatever the fuck it's called, on Netflix, about Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, I'm sure what drew you guys to the series is what drew me to the series. I do have an interest in the mind of a murderer, in the mind of a serial killer, in the mind of a criminal, period. But because of that, I've kind of known about the prolific serial killers, and Jeffrey Dahmer has been one that is constantly mentioned. There is no way you have an interest in serial killers and you've never heard of Jeffrey Dahmer. However, I'm not even going to cap to you guys, there's something about Jeffrey Dahmer that frightens me. So without further ado, let's unpack the series and let's get straight into the video. So firstly, I mean, unlike episode 1, I think I talked about sex education, so I kind of went through characters and all that stuff. Obviously this series is different. It's based off of a true story. It's based off of real life stories. I'm not going to sit here and like rate characters because there are no characters in this series. Everybody mentioned in this series is a real person. But I think what I am going to talk about is just like all the kind of roles that were exposed in the build up to Jeffrey's arrest and all that stuff. I think the first thing we have to highlight is Glenda. Is Glenda's role in Jeffrey's story. And it's really frustrating because I feel like Glenda's role, I don't want to say character, but Glenda's role in Jeffrey's story, in this series, is just a clear example of how people of colour, black women, black people, black and brown people are often ignored and disregarded by many institutions, but especially the police. There's obvious elements of white privilege when we talk about whenever the police encountered Jeffrey. It was a case of like, oh, he's innocent until really proven guilty, even though you've got men stumbling out of my man's apartment, you've got black women, you've got residents calling you over and over again. I feel like somebody's getting killed in this man's house. The police are like, nah man, he cool, like whatever. But Glenda is just a clear example of how black women are ignored, how our cries for help as a people just ignored. We're just exaggerating, we're just this that. It doesn't matter until something grave happens, then you know we're listened to when it's too late, you know. And it's really frustrating when you watch that as a person of colour, as a black woman, whatever. When you watch it, it's just fucking frustrating. And it's just like, this whole, like, Jeffrey's murders didn't happen 50 or 100 years ago. It only happened in the 80s, bro. Like, he got arrested in what, the 90s, like he got killed in the 90s. It just fucking happens, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, ain't shit changed now. Ain't shit changed now. If we try to report anything, if a black woman shows any amount of emotion or hysteria, we are being unreasonable, we are exaggerating, we're being dramatic with this, that, and they don't take us seriously. Anyway, so yeah, obviously Glenda's role, and I can imagine even for her rewatching this, if they do rewatch things like this, because I know there's been multiple series on Jeffrey Dahmer, and I can imagine that if you're a family like of the victims or anything like that that's involved in a real story, it's probably really triggering to watch things like that. But I can just imagine it just triggers that frustration again, that PTSD, that like just frustration with the institution of the police, do you know what I mean? Anyway, we all know that as viewers, as a person of colour, as a black woman, extremely frustrating, and it's real. It's not like it's frustrating because, oh, it's a show and what. It's frustrating because it's real. Like, our voices are ignored, we're not taken seriously, and it's fucking annoying. Secondly, can we talk about this man's father? Can we just unpack that? How you think, oh, what's a fun activity to do with my child? Collecting roadkill, dissecting it as a bonding moment. So because when we look at child development, no, because I'm really stressed. Because when we look at child development, yeah, you know, these early years, that the things that you do with your children in the early years, the way you bond, it will really shape their brain. When he's there dissecting dead animals, yeah, he's gonna associate that with love, because that's what his father taught him was what we can do to bond and love each other, yeah? And you're telling me that a man or boy that dissects animals for fun, that they actively went on road trips to find roadkill to take, to take home and dissect together, you're telling me that you think he's gonna be a functioning, conforming adult? Is it crack? Is it crack that you're smoking? I just don't understand. I just don't understand. And what frustrates me as well is that the only line that we said was a little bit strange because he was gay. I'm sorry, what? That was probably the only normal thing about Jeffrey Dahmer. But even when I say that, it was perverse. Because he was just a predator. He was just a predator. Whatever he had, he was just a predator. It doesn't matter who he liked. He was just a predator. It's not. He couldn't like nobody. He couldn't love nobody. He must be so infatuated with you, yeah, that he must kill you and eat you. And you, as a father of that person, you have no accountability. I don't care. You're not gonna sit in the comments and be like, oh, but it's Jeffrey Dahmer, da, da, da. But you have to understand the role that a parent plays in a child's development. When you are doing that with a developing brain, with a child that his brain is still developing, they're still forming attachment styles with their parents that they will now carry into their adulthood. You are actively taking your child to dissect and bring home. He's bringing roadkill home. How did that now mirror into his adulthood? He went out there to hunt. He went out there to find victims. And what did he do? He brought them home. I don't care what no one says. As a father, you play a big fucking role. And I don't like this whole idea of like, oh, because the mum left, whatever. I'm sorry. When we talk about the fascination with dead fucking bodies, the fascination with dissecting dead animals to the point where you're dismembering human beings, yeah, I'm sorry. But just because mum left, that don't mean that because mum left you now have a fascination with human organs and eating and acid and... No. Yeah, the mum may have been a little neglectful and no. The mum knew what was up. Do you know what it was, yeah? You know what it was? The mum knew. The mum knew that he was fucked up. I'm sorry. The mum knew he was fucked up. The mum knew the dad was fucked up and she wanted nothing to do with it. I don't fucking blame her. I be at that bitch too. What? You're bringing dead raccoons in my house and you think I'm gonna cook dinner? You're sick. I'm out. Oh, for me to stay there and play mother to a husband and a child. I was bringing dead animals in my house. I beg. I'm out that bitch too. The fuck? Who else can we talk about? Jeffrey fucking Dahmer. Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's like, what else can you say? But the man was sick. The man was deeply rotten. Like, you know, somebody that is just rotten to the core. Like, your core, there was not an ounce. I strongly believe there was not an ounce of good for this good in this man. And what's gonna frustrate me is the fact that this series, similarly to you, this series is gonna create some sort of sympathy for the man. And what I want people to realize is this isn't fictional. This is a real person. This was a real person that intentionally hunted down black and brown gay men, specifically because he knew the social standing of a black and brown man, a black and brown gay man to the police. He knew his social standing as a white man. You know that you can get away with that. You know, and he specifically because I want people to get out of this. That it wasn't impulse. Sure, yeah, he had this compulsion to kill. It wasn't impulse. When you intentionally plan, it's not like, oh, you got in a scrap and you randomly got something, smacked it across someone's head. No, he was intentionally going into nightclubs, intentionally engaging with intoxicated people, intentionally drugging people. He knew what he wanted to do to these people. It was intentional. It wasn't about no fucking impulse. You know what it is to have impulse? To not think. It's a reflex. No, he wanted to do that shit because he was a fucking weirdo. I'm sorry, because I feel like from what we've seen in the show, from young, he was perverse. He was strange. He was not okay. Obviously, we can get into the argument of nature versus nurture. Are people born evil? Do they learn evil? Whatever. I don't know, innit? I don't know, innit? I don't know. But I just feel like when it comes to Jeffrey Dahmer, he didn't have an ounce of good in him. And I don't want people to get caught up in the fact that it was a Netflix show, or the fact that they have an attachment to the actor that played Jeffrey Dahmer, that you want to now have sympathy for this man. It's not fictional, bro. It's not fictional. This is a real person that was doing that to real people. That 14-year-old boy, a child, he was doing that to real people. Like, don't, like, no, we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that. So Jeffrey Dahmer, you're fucked, yeah? And I'm sorry, free the guy that killed him. Free the guy that killed him. Because how you because, like, I don't even know if that was real life, what he said to him before he killed him in real life, but like he said in the show, you will feel it. The same way you were caving people's heads in, yeah? Oh, I drugged them so they wouldn't feel it. Are you crazy or something? Are you crazy or something? You think the amount, what amount of drug can you give me that I can't feel you drilling into my skull? Are you crazy or something? He hit him. Feel that. Hit him again. Feel that. Hit him again. Feel that. I said, yeah. Yeah. I said, yeah. About. No, man. Karma. Because about 99 years in prison, so he was just going to sit there enjoying life. Yeah? He ruined how many people's lives? And that's not even just the people, the family of the family of the victims that he killed. Just think of the trauma of everybody that lived in that apartment complex. The people that escaped. The people that had near misses with him. The people that knew it. Do you know the cycle of trauma you've caused in so many people's lives? And you want to have sympathy for this person? Can we all just check ourselves for a fucking second? Like, just check yourself for a second. This is not a joke. This isn't a Netflix show for entertainment. This is a real person. These are real stories. Like, we can't be getting into the politics of like, oh, like, sure, when it comes to you, like I covered earlier, you could argue it's a fictional character, whatever. Jeffrey Dahmer's a real person, and we can't be playing the sympathy game. He was a serial killer. He intentionally killed those people. He knew what he was doing, and he didn't have no remorse. I'm sorry. But if we're rating the production of the show, I think somebody like myself who has an interest in criminals and stuff like that, I think the show was really good. I think obviously with the budget that they had on the show, it was good. It showed the details, obviously for people that can stomach watch and stuff like that, and it's not too triggering. It was good in the sense that I feel like it covered everything in a good way. I think the cinematography was really good. I think the accuracy of like the apartments and all that stuff, like, it was really good. It was a good representation of what happened. And I would rate the show. Or the series or the docu-series. I give like an 8 out of 10. It was a good, yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and say I enjoyed it like it was a fucking movie, like it was, you know, but it was good. Like we know what happened in it. Like, we know what happened, and it was a good eye opener. Yeah, man. Just leave your comments down below on what you think. If I've missed anything, please let me know in the comments, and we can unpack that and discuss that further. Please don't forget to like, comment, obviously, and subscribe if you're new. Tell a friend, hit that subscribe button, because we're still on the road to 500 subscribers. Let's get it, let's go. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Signing out, and roll the outro.